Let's take a look at a popular loophole that we talk about a lot on this show that the Senate could close to make the wealthy pay a fairer share. It's called the carried interest loophole, something that we talk about regularly. So let's tell people what we're talking about.
A loophole that Trump, Mnuchin, and Gary Cohn all said was going to close. So what is carried interest? First, it's got nothing to do with carrying interest from year to year. The term dates back to 16th century Italy. A ship captain would transport cargo and take a 20% cut or whatever they carried. Fast forward to now. An investor pours money into an investment fund, such as a private equity firm, and that private equity firm makes money, usually in the multi-millions. A big chunk of that money goes back to the investor. But like the ship captains, 20% goes back to the fund manager. That 20% is carried interest. The managers pay 23.8% taxes on that money, 20% capital gains, and 3.8% investment tax. And that's how it should be, according to those who view hedge fund managers as entrepreneurs. The idea is that entrepreneurs should reap rewards from selling something they built with early capital and vision, similar to a startup. They put that capital in so they get a break on their taxes. But others, even those in the industry who think the loophole should be closed, say that 20% is actually income. In that case, the money would be taxed at a combined 43.4%. The reasoning behind that, these managers tend to be extremely wealthy, and paying that 23.8% means their taxes are lower than the folks making 40 grand a year. They're usually paid based on how well a fund performs. Closing the loophole would make these wealthy managers pay 43.4% in taxes, which is on par with the top income bracket. And here's the thing for me, Ali. I cannot find anyone, I can't find a Republican, I can't find a member of the administration who can make the argument to me why this loophole shouldn't be closed. Behind closed doors, hedge fund managers say to me, this thing should get closed. And the way the White House is carving it now, saying, well, it'll be for hedge fund managers for a period of time, not for private equity, not for real estate.
Why are we muddling around this?
Why are we muddling around it? This is a clear loophole that doesn't make any sense. You cannot compare hedge fund managers to entrepreneurs who are starting a business that's going to create jobs, that's doing something innovative. This is simply managing money, and they should get taxed for the fees that they get.
Let's bring in CNBC's John Harwood. John, let's just talk about this, because I think Stephanie's right. There are people who defend it, because if I'm in that case, I'd like to be paying 23% as opposed to 43% in taxes. But intellectually, it is very hard to defend whether you're a Republican or a hedge fund manager or a private equity person. It's just hard to defend.
But hold on. There isn't that many people that publicly defend it.
Right.
Ali just said there are people that defend it. I can't find anyone who would like to discuss this with me or teach me why they should get taxed like this. No one says it.
Guys, when I talk to people in the investment business over the last several years, as this has been an issue, they all think that this is a loophole that ought to be closed. They all think that it shouldn't, the tax code should not work this way. The main defense in real life is they want the money. And this Republican Congress has not shown very good at taking away things that cost people money, especially people who are wealthy and who are likely to be donors to their campaigns.
So these investment funds who are going to get the benefits of these things, how do Republicans, how do you make the argument? Forget the rest of it, why you should have it. How do you make the argument that this boosts the economy through trickle-down economics that some people say they still believe in?
I mean, hedge fund fees, that's not even like a bank that has thousands and thousands of employees
and things like that.
That have lending practices. Hedge funds could be a guy sitting in his house in Palm Beach with a Bloomberg terminal.
Right. Well, they make the argument that it helps the economy because the investments that these funds make result, according to this line of reasoning, in more efficient companies. They restructure companies, or they change the management of companies to make them function better in the economy, and that the more efficient an economy is, or a set of businesses are, the better the economy is for everybody. But there's no question that in the main, this is compensation for the labor of those hedge fund people. That's why most tax people will tell you, pretty much all tax experts will tell you, their income ought to be taxed as wages.
All right, just before we go, though, I do want to point something out. You're right, especially in terms of activist investors. They may come in, they may look at companies that are being poorly managed, they might tighten it up, they might add stronger board members, operational excellence, but investors do not have forced holding periods, not activist investors. So they can come in and shake up a company, and they can sell that stock in a heartbeat, leaving that company on the side of a road bleeding. So to make the argument they're here to make us better, stronger, longer, unless they're sitting on the board, unless there are detailed holding periods that they have to be in it for the long haul, they could very much be in it for a trade. And short-term gains are what's hurting our economy across all industries.
John?
Well said.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
You bet.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.